Hi y'all! Happy Monday! Hey everybody, happy Monday! So, I love being in my car. So, I'm recording in my car so I can be loud! Happy Monday, everybody! Hi, y'all! Hi! Let me get situated. So, hey, y'all! Happy Monday! Happy Masculine Mondays. It's Regal Essence with your Masculine Mondays. I am also Tales of the Layback Mom. I'm your ray of sunshine in the afternoon time. I'm Life is a Love Goddess. I'm your crystal healer and dealer. I am Regal Essence Queen TV After Dark. And I'm your hood therapist. Hey, y'all. Hey. Hi, everybody. So, I am here to do your Masculine Monday. And so this Masculine Monday is going to be based off of a story time. So y'all get a story time for Masculine Monday. I don't know if this is your last Masculine Monday or not. I don't know yet. So hey everybody. Y'all like my t-shirt? I love hard, but I don't give a fuck even harder. You know why? Because when I love you, and when I'm done, I'm just done. Like, how many people out there, like, when you done, like, that's it. Like, that's it. You should love me while you had me. Now you lost me, and oh, well. But, yeah, you guys, so I'm here today to talk about what it truly means to be enlightened, okay? So, like I said, this is going to be based off of a story time. So, yeah. So, the other night, so I drive for Uber, right? So the other night, I go, and those of y'all that are from Philly, y'all know that, like, Chester is crazy. So I go and I pick up this ride in Chester. Now, they told me, I got a little message on a little Uber join. Before I got there, they was like, it's going to be 3 people, and we're going to make 2 stops, right? So I get there, and it's 4 people, right? So y'all know I done been through some shit. So I'm like, yo, like, what the fuck? Right? What the fuck, right? So I'm like, am I about to get ambushed in this joint or what? So I get there and it's like 4 people. So they was like, this person decided that they wanted to come at the last minute, yada, 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 right? So the dude is like, I got a cane, and like, you know, they giving me all these reasons why I should take these 4 people, which meant that the 4th person had to ride in the front seat. And those of y'all who ride with Uber, y'all know don't nobody ride in the front seat, right? So they explained it to me, you know, they doing a little story or whatever. So I let them get in the car. So first and foremost, if you are enlightened, and I'm going to give y'all 5 things. First and foremost, if you are enlightened, you know that you are sent here, right? So to be enlightened means that you have an understanding and a knowing that you are a special individual, right? And it has little to do with, see, people feel as though what makes you enlightened is knowledge, right? People feel that if you have hidden knowledge or higher knowledge, that makes you enlightened, but it doesn't, right? I'm going to tell you what makes you enlightened. Compassion makes you enlightened. Being open-minded makes you enlightened. Being positive makes you enlightened. Being clear and concise in your thinking, that makes you enlightened. Being fearless makes you enlightened. Having a warrior mindset versus a fear mentality, that makes you enlightened. So me first and foremost, so I let them in the car and I'm just like, oh my God, like what the fuck, right? But at the same time, I'm like, yo, I know the universe protects me. So like, if they want it, they can get it. And I know that I got angels that's protecting me at all times, right? Being enlightened, you also know that like, I'm very, very, very important to the universe, right? I chose to be here, right? Being a chosen one, you know that you have a call on your life. There is a seal on you in the spirit realm, right? And I know me personally, I know that there's been other chosen people that have lost their life, but I know me personally, I'm not here to be killed. I'm not here to be taken out early, because I already did that shit. They killed me in a past life, so I'm immortal now, okay? So I know that any plots, plans, or anything like that set against me is not gonna work. It's just simply, it's not. It's just not gonna work, okay? So they get in the car, and of course, I'm fearless, but at the same time, I use wisdom, right? So I'm just like, all right. So they get in the car, and I'm like, well, if they want to try anything, then it's gonna be on. Like, I'm not worried, right? And I always, as I go throughout my day, I live my day in a state of gratitude. So I'm always thanking God for his protection, for his mercy, for the fact that he's keeping me safe, and all of that stuff, right? So they get in the car, and it's 3 young people. So I'm like, well, what y'all doing? I'm like talking to them or whatever. I'm like, what y'all about to get into or whatever? So they're like, we're going to stop at Chick-fil-A, and then we're going to the Best Western, right? So I'm joking with them about that or whatever. So the guy that gets in the front seat, like, he's the one that feels as though he's enlightened, right? So his name was like Noble something. I don't even know, right? So straight off the bat, like, I realized this nigga is negative as ever, right? Very, very negative. So I'm just like, you think you deep, but you not, because those of us that are enlightened, we're very positive, right? We don't have any reason to be living in a negative state, because we're enlightened. Like, we know that we're chosen. We know that we are here to raise the earth's vibration. We know that we are here for the higher good of humanity and all of that stuff. So there's no need for us to live a life where we're being negative. So we talking, right? So he like, yeah, da 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 da. So he started talking, and immediately, like, one thing about an enlightened person, like, that you can tap into infinite wisdom, right? So I know that if there's something that I don't know about, that's fine and okay. I'm okay with the things that I don't know. But then at the same time, I'm not about to sit and go back and forth with you about some ish that don't matter. Like how to say Jesus' name and if Jesus is the Savior and all of that kind of stuff. I'm not debating certain things with people, right? This is how I kick it. We all know whether we want to say that Jesus was the Son of God, he was the Savior, or an ascended master, or a prophet. We know that he lived a life that was very noble, and we know that he lived a life where he's a prototype, right? So he started trying to talk about some Jesus stuff or whatever, because that's like the first thing that people want to debate. And I basically broke it down to him like that. I was like, well, I'm not here to debate with you about who Jesus was or any of that, because if you're enlightened, you know that you're not going to get involved in conversations that are just like frivolous, right? So we're not about to sit and have a battle of the wits about who knows what and who knows higher knowledge, right? Another reason why I'm talking about this is because whenever I was in New York, it was a guy and he was on the train. And he was preaching on the train or whatever. And like I said, y'all know I believe it's a lot of people that are schizophrenic. There's a lot of people that have mental health disorders. And I do work in the mental health field, so I can speak on it, okay? I can speak from the ICD-9 and all that, okay? Hit pitch codes, whatever you want. I got you, right? So it was a guy on the bus. He prompted this, a guy on the train, excuse me. So he kind of prompted this live as well as my passenger, right? So we sit and talking. So I break it down to him or whatever. So we get the young people to the Chick-fil-A. Now, mind you, I love the young people, right? Because first of all, they were singing all these old songs. Like I had on 100.5, 105.3. And for those of you that are not from Philadelphia, because I have a lot of followers, I have a lot of people that watch my videos, like 105.3 is like the older radio station, right? So these babies was singing these old songs. I'm like, what y'all know about this and what y'all know about that or whatever. So they was like, we know because my mom used to play it and on Saturdays and this, that, or the other, right? So I'm talking to them. So we get to the Chick-fil-A. I let them out. They go into the Chick-fil-A. So I'm talking to old Grumpy Pants, right? So he's all grumpy and like, you could tell he got a little chip on his shoulder from life. And He's like, I'm about to go away. Long story short, he was telling me that he was about to go away to jail. And, there was people that didn't help him. And, if he wanted to sue the system, then he could. Or, he could just go to jail or whatever. So he giving me this sob story, right? So I basically broke it down to him. I was like, yeah, well, he was like, everything that could possibly been done to me has been done to me and this, that, or the other. So I'm just like, yo, you talking to the wrong one. Because, yeah, I know what it feels like for everything that could have possibly have been done to you to have been done to you. I was like, I lost everything. I had a beautiful home, this, that, or the other. Like, I lost a lot. But when you are a chosen one or you're an enlightened one, you know that whatever it is that you went through it for a higher purpose, for a higher good, and you know that there's a higher power. And I think I mentioned a higher power, and that's how he got on the subject of like Jesus, right? But can't nobody put me in no box. You can't put me in no religious box, none of that stuff, right? So I'm just like, well, that's why I say a higher power, because if you're an enlightened one, you're a chosen one, you know that you are here for the purpose of humanity. And you know that if you're here for the purpose of humanity and you chose to be here, chosen one, you chose to be here for a time such as this, then you know that you are here to help uplift humanity. You're here to raise the earth's vibration, all of those things. So with that being the case, like, they ain't send you in here without no backup. You got backup, right? So I was like, I can relate, everything that could have possibly been done to me has been done to me, X, Y, and Z. I was like, but I know at the end of the day, it could have been worse. I know at the end of the day that God got my back, right? And whatever it is that I went through it for the purpose of elevating my soul and to get me to a certain point. And also, too, I chose to go through this, right? So he's listening or whatever. So now that I done broke him completely down, he's like, oh my goodness, like, you didn't answer to my prayer, goddess, and now I'm a goddess and all this and that, right? So after we get done, so like now he's like chill out, because I was like, yo, why you so defensive? Because they was drinking, right? So they had a bottle. So he was like, yeah, this is Jose Cuervo, da-da-da-da. What you drink? You drink Patron, right? Da-da-da-da, right? So another key factor of a person that's enlightened, like, we don't live life like we're not defensive. I said, how about you just ask me a question versus just assuming what you think you know? I said, because I don't drink tequila. I was like, I like Southern Comfort, actually. So I was like, just ask me the question. Don't just assume that you know, and, don't just assume that you know what I want. And just because you say something that's expensive, like, don't expect my panties to get wet and all of that kind of stuff, right? So I'm like, actually, I drink Southern Comfort when I do drink, which I haven't even been drinking. I haven't been drinking probably in like the last 6 or 7 months, right? Since like August, right? So I'm like, I was like, yeah, and I was like, and yo, I was like, why you so grouchy? Like, why you, like, what you mad at? Like, you got this chip on your shoulder, like chill, right? So he chill out, we talking or whatever. So then the babies get back in the car. So I'm talking to them, and it's like, he couldn't really join into the conversation because he was like real negative or whatever. So now they're babies, but I call them babies, but they're like 23 and 24, right? So they were supposed to, he was like, get me a spicy chicken sandwich and a lemonade, and I'm gonna cash app you $10, right? So he never cash apped them the money, and they didn't get his food. So I'm fussing at them because I'm just like, why don't y'all get this man his food? Da, da, da. So they like, here go the chicken finger. Da, da, da. So they like, so then the one was like, well, it was this girl in there. We was trying to holler at her. And da, da, da. So, we just got distracted. Our priorities wasn't in line, right? So I thought that was hilarious, right? So I was like, shame on y'all. So I'm like fussing at them or whatever, even though Mr. Grouchy Pants was grouchy the whole time, right? But come to find out, he ain't never even sent him the money. So like, you front. So I'm like fussing at him, like, you ain't sent him the money. Y'all ain't get him his food. Like, what's up, right? So come to find out, like, he was fronting. He was like, I'm going to just give y'all cash. I'm going to give y'all my last $4. So I'm just like, okay, so you fronting. Another thing about enlightened ones, like, we just keep it real. Like, we keep it 100. Like, we not out here fronting and flossing and being fake. Like, we just keeping it 100, right? Like, if I only got $4, then I only got $4. You know what I'm saying? So somebody just gonna have to spot me, boo. So he so I'm like laughing and talking with them or whatever. So, you know me, I love to ask people like, well, what do you want to be in life? You know what I mean? Like, I love to ask the dream question. Like, well, what do you want to be in life? And, you know, where you see yourself going and da-da-da-da. So then we started talking about, the one said he want to do music, and the other one said that he want to, you know, start his own business. So I'm encouraging him, you know, to do that or whatever. And he was like, really, you know, I just want to get my kids out of the hood. So he was like, I don't want my kids to live in a trap. So Mr. Grumpy Pants was like, why don't you just stay in the trap until the trap door open? I'm like, dog, like, ain't nobody staying in the trap. Like, what? Like, we can, like, ain't nobody staying in the trap. We ain't staying in the box. He was like, you know, they all got us in the box. You know, you just stay in the box until the box door open. Nah, nigga, no. We kicked that joint down. Like, we bust out of that ish, right? So enlightened ones know that, like, they cannot be put in a box. Like, we're not meant to live a life that's restricted. Like, your mind, when you're enlightened, you're tapped into infinite wisdom, right? You're tapped into infinite creativity. So you know that you don't have to sit around and settle for anything. Whatever you're in, you can find a way to get out of it, right? Because those of us that are enlightened, what makes us enlightened is the fact that we are connected to the Most High. He's the creator of the universe. So if I'm tapped into the Most High, then I'm tapped into everything it is that I need, right? So what I look like living in a box. So he was like, oh no, well, you know what I'm saying? And he like tried to retract his statement. Ain't no retracting your statement. We not living in no boxes. We kicking the boxes open. We kicking the lock off, all of that stuff, right? So then he tried to act as if the bottle of liquor spilled in the front. So I later realized that that was to get me kind of like upset and riled up, right? But those of us that are enlightened, we know that we don't anger easy. So I'm like, yo, you knocked that over. He was like, because the lid came off, da-da-da-da-da, right? So the baby in the back was like, well, it didn't spill, because if it spilled, you know, it would, like, the bottle would be wet, da-da-da, right? So I'm like, you spilled liquor in my front seat, like, da-da-da-da, right? So he was like, yeah, but it ain't that much, X, Y, and Z. So the reason why I know he was fronting is because when I got out, the floor wasn't wet. So I realized that he only said that to get me all worked up. But it didn't work, because I just was like, well, y'all better tip me good. Like, if I got to clean up liquor off the front seat, y'all better tip me good or whatever, right? So I realized that it wasn't anything spilled. And I realized that he only did that probably because I was talking to the kids more. And he just wanted to see me get upset. But when you're enlightened, like, you don't upset easy, right? You have compassion. You have understanding for other people. And you just can't get knocked off your square. And I realized that when you're a person that lives in a very zen state, people try to get you off of your rocker. They try to knock you off your square. And I also was telling the young people, I was like, yeah, you know, go with the music thing. Like, music is good. I love music. Like, that's how I get my rocks off, you know, when I want to, you know, talk my shit. That's how I do it. I utilize music, right? I channel through music. And most times when I'm upset about something, there's a song or there's some music that's going to say what it is that I want to say, right? So I was like, I love music because, you know, being who I am, I have to be an example, right? I'm loving light, but at the same time, I got a dark side. When you're enlightened, you realize that you got to balance your yin and your yang, right? Yin and yang, that's your dark and your light. It has to have a healthy balance, right? So we talked a little bit more about that. So when we got out the car and I realized that, you know, now, of course, he tried to holler at me and all this other stuff getting out the car. But I'm thinking to myself, like, yo, dude, like, for real, like, you don't even really fuck with me like that. Oh, another thing. So he was like, another reason why, another example of how enlightened ones, we don't upset easily, right? So he was like, oh, we were talking about names. So I was like, you know, my name means appearance of God, revelation of God, you know, and I'm saying that's what Tiffany means. So he was like, what does Hozar mean or something like that? I was like, I don't know. Like, what do it mean? He was like, that's my nickname. I'm like, what does it mean? He was like, prophet. I said, okay, well, if you're a prophet, you're a seer. I was like, then you are supposed to teach, and your word should be nurturing to the listener. That's another thing about being enlightened. When you're enlightened, you know that when you teach, you're not teaching in a way that you are going to purposely hurt others. Now, everybody may not like what it is that you have to say. Everybody may not like your delivery, so they can watch somebody else. But for the most part, you should be delivering a message in a way that does not offend other people, right? Because those of us that are enlightened, we know that we should give respect, and we know that everybody on the planet deserves respect. Humans, any living thing on the planet deserves respect. Animals, humans, young people, children, young adults, all of that kind of stuff, right? Everybody deserves respect. Now, if you don't give me respect, then our conversation will probably be cut pretty short, but everybody deserves respect, right? So he was like, what does Jesus mean, and like what language did Jesus speak, da da da. And I was like, I don't know, enlighten me, right? So he was like, he spoke, and I was like, Hebrew? I don't know. So he was like, something. He told me whatever language he spoke. He was like, but if you heard it, it would sound like gibberish. So, you need to get some understanding so you understand what it is you say. I don't mean to insult you. I said, look, let me let you know, I said, you can't insult me. Like, I know who it is that I am. Like, I'm a gift to this world. I'm the answer to the question. You cannot insult me. You can attempt to try to insult me, but you can't insult me. Like, I know who it is that I am. Like, I'm not going to get insulted by you or your opinion. I don't even care what you, like, I don't care about your opinion like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I care about people's feelings for the simple fact that I feel like everybody, oh, shoot. Oh, sorry, y'all. My phone fell. So, anyway. So he was like, I don't mean to insult you, but da-da-da, right? So I was like, you can't insult me. You don't have the ability to insult me. First of all, I would actually have to care about your opinion, and I don't. I care about people's opinion in that if I'm teaching you something or I'm talking to you about something, I do care about how it is that you feel, right? I'm not just ignorant to people's feelings, right? And I don't disregard people's feelings or their emotions. But if you're going to try to purposely insult me, like, that's never going to work, because I know who it is that I am. You know what I'm saying? And I think if we understood who it is that we were, then we wouldn't get insulted by people. It would be less people getting into fights and killing and less violence if people had a solid, healthy sense of self. A solid, healthy sense of who it is that I am. I don't have to prove anything to anybody. I don't have to take anything that anybody says personally to the point that, like, now we got beef and we arguing and we fighting. Like, I'm here to do my job. You here to do your job. Whether your job is to assault and go against me, or whether it's your job to work alongside of me as a like-minded individual, whatever the case may be. But to personally think that you're going to insult me, that's not going to happen, right? So that's another thing. People that are enlightened, we're so solid in who it is that we are. We're so solid in our sense of self that we don't have time to take people's opinions personally, especially people that is purposely trying to offend us. Like, whatever, right? But that's high level living, y'all. That's higher level living. That's higher consciousness, okay? So yeah, you guys, those are your Masculine Monday points and tips on what it means to be enlightened. An enlightened individual is a high-minded individual. An enlightened individual realizes that they're here for a purpose and on purpose. An enlightened individual realizes that they are protected by the universe and they don't have to fear anything. An enlightened individual realizes that they don't have to live in the matrix and they're not stuck in a box, right? An enlightened individual lives their life with compassion and respect for all living things. An enlightened individual is a warrior. They're not a person that's living with a victim mentality, because they realize that anything that they find themselves in they have the ability to get out of it, be it tapping into their mental space to figure it out, or praying to a higher your higher. Y'all, I just went blank. Whether it's praying to God to get you out of the situation, we understand that we're never ever stuck. We understand that as a chosen one, we have a direct connection with God, and He is always there and readily available to help us and assist us, regardless to what way He chooses to do it, right? Also, as a chosen individual and an enlightened individual, you understand that, like, God's way may not be your way, right? But we know that He's here to help us and assist us along our journey, and all we need to do is either tap into our mental space and figure it out, or we need to ask God to, like, God, I need a miracle. Like, Lord, I need you to do it for me, right? And those are the things that make you enlightened. Enlightened has little to do with being able to have higher knowledge, because you can have higher knowledge and still be an asshole. You can have higher knowledge and still not have respect for other people and other individuals. And to me, that level of respect is the first signs of you being a higher level person, right? Operating on a higher plane. Because the guy on the train, just to tap in on him for a second, the guy on the train, like, you could tell he had higher knowledge, but at the same time, he was insulting people. Like, people that are enlightened, like, we know that everybody's important, everybody's story matters, every person on this planet matters, right? Regardless to what it is that they do, how it is that they act. If you're being an asshole to me, then guess what? You're fulfilling your assignment to be in opposition to the light. And I'm going to let you do your job, but you ain't going to beat me doing your job, right? You're not going to beat me. You're not going to take me down. You're not going to conquer me, right? And that's what those of us that are enlightened, we understand that. And because we understand that, we live a life that's very peaceful. Everything is not always going to be perfect and right, and everything is not going to always go our way. But we live a life on purpose. We live life knowing that, hey, I'm here for a purpose, and I am on purpose. And with that, I find peace in that every single day, regardless to whether my life is the way that I want it to be, or whether I feel as if my life is crumbling down around me. We know that within everything there is purpose, right? So that's all I got for y'all. That's all I got for y'all. I love y'all very, very much. Do me a favor, share the video. Like, subscribe, hit the like button so you can get me flowing through the algorithm, and this video can get to those who need it. Share it with your family, share it with your friends, and all of that stuff. And I love you guys very, very much, and I will be back later on this week for Feminine Fridays. I love y'all. Peace.